And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Howdy folks, today we're going to talk about 5 Straight. Now, I talk about new games and I talk about older games, but 5 Straight is an older game. It came out in 1968, but it's still being produced today. I mean, the game is still, which is a pretty good indicator that the game has staying power. I'm not saying that the game is necessarily a great game to last that long, because we can look in the toy store and find many games that have lasted many years, which we would certainly not consider great games. But 5 Straight did win, made it to the top 100 of Games magazine many years ago. So let's take a look at it and see if it's as good and why it's lasted so long. So here's the board for 5 Straight. It's actually made of 2 boards, which are held together with 2 black pieces that are put down there pretty easy. And then there's different colored pegs that will fit into this board. The board starts at number 1. It goes from 0 to 99. 0 is in the corner. But then 1 starts here, and it goes 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and goes in this kind of serpentine pattern as you go around the board back and forth. The game comes with a deck of cards that's numbered, these same numbers, and then you can play. Now, the normal game is 1 player versus 1 player, or if you're playing a 4-player game, 2 on 2. Although if you play with 3 players, you can add a 3rd color into the mix, and you can play 6 players, whatever number you want if you put the same people on the same number of teams. You can play with 8 players, split into 4 players per team. But what you'll have on your turn is you're going to have a handful of cards. And you can play one of these cards on your turn. So let's say I play the 63 on my turn. That means I can put this peg in any number that's 63 or higher. So I can put it in the 63 over here. But if I want to, I could put it in the 89. It's my choice. Later on, for example, if I play this 98, I only have 2 choices, the 98 or the 99. As you can see, 0 is the most powerful card because it can put a peg anywhere on the board. Not to mention, the ones in the middle here, the 1, 2, 3, 4 especially, have a good spot, because when you're playing a game like this, to be able to control the middle is important. And what you're trying to do as you play this game is you're trying to simply get 5 in a row. Now, your opponents will be playing pieces trying to block you and trying to get 5 in a row themselves, but 5 in a row games are very common. This one adds to it by having these cards, and you'll see that obviously the big number cards are not as useful. In fact, if you have a 98 card and a 98 and 99 are both full, then I can't play this card, and it's a dead card. And if my hand is ever all full of dead cards, then I've lost the game. So you got to be careful not to let your hand get full of dead cards. And you want to save these lower cards till later, because they are that powerful. But like I said, at the same time, the lower cards offer you positions on the board which are better than the outside positions. So there's 2 ways to win. 1, by getting 5 in a row, or your opponent having a hand of dead cards that they cannot use. Card quality is okay. I mean, they're glossy on the one side. They're not that bad, but, they're not only going to be used for this. And the pegs fit into the board pretty easily. The whole game takes about 10, 15, 20 minutes to play. As I was playing 5 Straight, there's one game that just keeps coming to my mind, and I think it's a very fair comparison, and that's Sequence. Sequence is sold in many games. In that game, you're playing cards, and in the card, you put tokens on the board and try to get them in a row. But I think I can say that if you like Sequence, you will like this game. They are very much 2 of a kind in the sense that they're different games, but they have that same feeling to them. Some people are going to be frustrated because you'll draw a handful of higher cards and not know how to handle the luck that is inherent in this game. But at the same time, I think it's a fun, decent abstract, and it doesn't get too thinky because the cards determine where you can play your cards. Yes, it can be frustrating sometimes when you need to block somebody and you simply don't have the card, and you might never have had the card to block them. But at the same time, the luck of the draw means you should get lower cards at some point, and so it's your choice. Do you use those to help yourself out, or do you save them for that critical moment in the game? And so while 5 Straight isn't a game that I play all the time, it certainly is a fun, light abstract that I can see a lot of people enjoying, and I would not turn down a game, especially because it's so short, so simple, and almost therapeutic, relaxing in a way. 5 Straight.
Thanks for joining us today. For more written, audio, and video reviews, as well as the #1 board game podcast, check out the website at www.thedicetower.com. Until then, this is Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.
Yeah.